What is a heatsink? In simple terms, a heatsink increases the effective surface area of an energy source such as a CPU, GPU, or PCB component. With an increase in surface area, we have more material that's exposed to the fluid flow. This fluid flow is what carries energy away from the heatsink, thus reducing the temperature of the source. With a proper heatsink, we can operate our CPU at a lower temperature for a given power output. Typical materials are copper or aluminum due to their high thermal conductivity. We can use simulation software such as SOLIDWORKS Flow Simulation to test and iterate our designs prior to manufacturing. How does it work? How effective a heatsink is at dissipating energy is heavily dependent on a few important parameters. First and foremost is material type. The higher thermal conductivity a material has, the better that material will be at conducting heat through the fins. Geometry is another factor. We want to increase surface area as much as possible so that we expose more of the heatsink to convection from our fluid. This is why we see many heatsinks with tall, thin fins. However, we do need to be careful to balance fin size and spacing. If the spacing between our fins is too small, it could inhibit our fluid's ability to easily pass through the heatsink. The type of fluid and its velocity are also critical. Fluids being forced past a heatsink by a fan will be able to remove more heat than ones with no forced fluid flow. Also, fluids with a higher specific heat capacity and thermal conductivity will more efficiently remove energy from the system. The contact points between our components are critical in creating an effective heatsink. If two metals are connected face to face, minuscule air gaps will be present that increase the thermal resistance, thus lowering the heat transfer rate. Thermal paste is used to reduce or eliminate this issue. As we can see from this simplified diagram, heat is conducted upwards through the fins from the energy source. Forced convection then carries the heat away and lowers the temperature of our system. Also note the thermal interface between the two components. Now let's look at some heat transfer basics. There are three main forms of heat transfer: conduction, convection, and radiation. Fourier's law of heat conduction describes how heat moves through a solid material. As we can see from the equation below, things like thermal conductivity and material cross-section impact how much heat we are able to transfer. Conduction heat transfer is also governed by the temperature difference between 2 points, and the distance between those points. This equation is highly simplified, but gives us an idea of how changing some of the parameters can affect the heat transfer. Newton's law of cooling tells us how convection between solids and fluids can remove energy from a system. An important factor in the effectiveness of convection is the convection coefficient, H. This coefficient is determined by things like fluid flow, fluid velocity, geometry, and fluid properties such as the specific heat capacity and thermal conductivity. In most cases, the convection coefficient is determined either experimentally or through the use of simulation software, such as SOLIDWORKS Flow Simulation. Radiation is another form of heat transfer that can have an effect on heatsink systems. The emissivity of a surface strongly affects the radiative heat flux. Emissivity is a measure of how strongly a material emits and absorbs thermal radiation. In general, dark surfaces will have a high emissivity and therefore a high radiative heat flux. The surfaces on common heat sinks like copper and aluminum typically have much lower emissivity values. Many assumptions must be made to use the equations just described. Oftentimes, these assumptions make practical use almost impossible. Instead, we can use flow simulation software to study our systems that have complex geometries and flows. SOLIDWORKS Flow Simulation allows us to observe thermal fluid systems in a way that's not possible with classic analytical methods. Now let's look at an example of a heatsink simulation within SOLIDWORKS. On the top left of the screen, you'll notice I have the ability to create several different projects at the same time. In this case, I've created 3 projects, each with different material properties and/or geometry. I'll use these 3 examples to illustrate what changing some of the characteristics does to the results. I have a copper heatsink and an aluminum heatsink with identical geometry. I also have a copper heatsink with the same outer dimensions, but with a higher number of thinned out fins. The useful thing about these projects is that I can retain the same simulation setup across all 3 to save time and effort. Below my project is the simulation input data and results data. This is where I define my materials, fluids, boundary conditions, heat sources, and goals for the simulation. In this case, I am blowing air across the heatsink at around 5 meters per second. I have my ambient conditions set to room temperature and atmospheric pressure. I also have defined a power source of 150 watts on the bottom of the heatsink. This will simulate a CPU transferring energy to the heatsink. My main goal for this experiment is to observe the temperature distribution throughout the solid. After running the simulation, I can now view my results. First, I'll turn on the temperature distribution surface plot for the heatsink. This gives me insight into the performance of the design and what sort of max temperatures I can expect. In this case, my simulation shows a max temperature of around 176 degrees Fahrenheit on the bottom face. Using this data, I can determine whether or not my heatsink or fan are removing enough heat to stay within the design intent of the system. Next, let's look at a cut plot of the fluid velocity. This plot shows me how the fluid behaves when interacting with the heatsink. A cut plot gives me a cross-section view of the fluid domain where red represents high velocities and blue represents lower velocities. In this case, my velocity maxes out at about 7.5 meters per second. Lastly, I'll turn on my flow trajectory plot. I'll also animate it to give a dynamic representation of how my fluid may be moving through the system. Now let's compare our three studies. In this case, I'll be showing a side-by-side comparison of our heatsink temperature plots. As stated earlier, the simulation parameters are identical across all three studies. Only the geometry and/or material properties change between studies. As expected, our copper heatsink with a higher fin count maintains the lowest maximum temperature. This is due to an increased surface area from the heatsink's high fin count as well as copper's superior thermal conductivity. The aluminum heatsink performed poorly compared to the other two due to its low thermal conductivity. This simulation gives insight into how we can use SOLIDWORKS to effectively design and test our ideas prior to manufacturing any of the parts.